Good morning, good morning, good morning, everyone. We can't have a crooked flag in the back. No, we can't. It does not want to work with me, though. Okay, there we go. There's something wrong in the back. That's right there. Okay. A little better. How is it going this beautiful Saturday morning? Today, we are going to talk about and focus on how much effort you need to put into training your dog. That's going to be the name of today. I think there's a myth out there that, the only way you can get your dog to be trained is to become a full-time professional trainer and train it, 40 hours a week, which is just simply not true. So we're going to dispel that myth right now and kind of walk and talk you through what it takes to train your dog or any dog to a very high level and just be real about it. And in short, I'll make it simple for you. 5 to 15 minutes a day, you can do more if you want, is all you need to train your dog to a very high level. How high of a level? As high as you want to go, 5 to 15 minutes a day. Now, can you do a little extra? Yeah. But you know what extra would be? 30 minutes maybe, 2 15-minute sessions. If you want to go above and beyond, you can maybe put in 45 minutes to an hour per day. But that should be the rare occasion because a lot of dogs don't have the stamina to train for that long. And so there actually is a point of not even like no return or I'm not going to find the right words here. Let's see. There's a point of diminishing returns when it comes to training your dog too long and too hard. They'll get bored, they'll get tired. And instead of being excited to come train with you, they're like, oh, this guy again. This guy is going to take me outside and make me, sweat out here, even though dogs don't sweat, for an hour, hour and a half. Man, this guy grinds me too hard. And so instead, there is such a thing as too much of a good thing, right? Like some of you out there, think of your favorite food, steak, pizza, whatever. You love it, right? Yeah. What if I fed it to you 3 times a day, every day for 3 weeks? At what point are you going to say, like, all right, Garrett, I had enough? And then when you've had enough, I try to force feed you more. And that's literally what I'm talking about when it comes to dog training. Your dogs, if you're training with food, your dog gets full at a certain point. So how much more are you going to feed him? So always try to leave him on a high note. And simply put, what it comes to, and then when we talk about training, we're going to separate that into 2 things. We have training in the sense of like, you're going to teach your dog something new, like a new trick or a new obedience command. And then there's training, and there probably should come up with 2 different words for it, though we don't. I don't know of 2 different words for it. But maybe today we'll discover it, and someone can post in the comments what we should differentiate the 2, because I've never heard someone differentiate the 2. But there's the teaching part of training. We're going to teach your dog something new, a task they've never done before, to sit or down or heel or go on a place board or to focus on you or to spin and do a trick or roll over. Then when you do the 5, 10, or 15-minute session to teach them that new trick, that's it. The training session's over. And then we move on to our day-to-day. And so I'm going to just go ahead and jump to a quote from another dog trainer. You all might know him, Larry Crone. So I steal this from him. All great dog trainers beg, borrow, and steal from everyone they meet or come in contact with or learn from, etc. And this is one thing that stuck with me. I heard him say this like 1 or 2 years ago. When it comes to training your children, if you even train your children, right? Nobody says they train their children. They teach them, though. When do you train them? From 9 a.m. to 9:30 in the morning. It's a set schedule. From 9 to 9:30, I'm training my children. After 9:30, we stop training, and my children can just be buck wild animals and do whatever they want. They want to color on the walls, they can do that. They want to throw rocks at other kids, no problem. They want to, go do drugs? No, of course not. As far as your kids go, you're always training them. And then if you were to ask a parent, and for those parents in the audience, how often do you train your kids? How much time does it take to train your kids? Like, I don't know if there's an answer for that. It's like never ending is what it seems like. Because we're constantly keeping an eye on our kids, teaching them right from wrong, right? Showing them better ways to do things. And so that doesn't mean, though, with our kids, we might not take 15 or 30 minutes or an hour out of our day to teach them something new, right? Teach them something, how to ride their bike, how to fish, how to tie their shoes, help them with their homework, right? We're teaching them something new. But when that session's over, when the fishing is over, when the homework time is over, that doesn't mean we don't pay attention to our kids anymore, because we're going to constantly keep an eye on them, making sure they're making the right decisions. It's the exact same for your dogs. So when it comes to training your dogs, even though we say it only takes 5 or 15 minutes a day, that's not a lie. That's it. That's all you need to get super high level of obedience. And again, there is a point of diminishing returns if you do much more than that. 30 minutes, maybe an hour a day, but that's it. That's it. You're going to burn your dog out. They're not going to want to train with you anymore. So, but even if you invest that 15 or 30 minutes per day or less with your dog to teach them something new, this is where everybody goes wrong. In a lot of the households where we see problem dogs, or we hear from you all, some of our amazing subscribers and customers and everything. You know, I train my dog to 5 minutes in the morning, and then the rest of the day, I don't pay attention to him. The rest of the day, there's no rules. There's no monitoring them. There's no, limits on their behavior. There's no impulse control. It's just a damn free-for-all. And you wonder why the dog's acting out of pocket. 5 minutes a day is great to teach them something new, a new trick. But then the rest of the day, when you're interacting with your dog, I'm just here to tell you something. You're always training your dog. Your dog, and I'm going to put it a different way. We got to think of it from the dog's point of view. Trust me when I tell you, your dog doesn't go, oh, we're training right now. Oh, okay, I'll pay attention. Yeah, what are we doing? Oh, I'll learn how to sit. I'll learn how to focus. And then when do you think your dog realizes that training ends? Is there a bell that goes off? No. Even if you jackpot them food, like it's like, oh, is training over? Oh, okay, I'll just lock away what you just taught me, and then I'll just be behaved the rest of the day. No, you're constantly checking in with your dogs. And so I'm going to frame this a different way. I like to just explain things 50 different ways. When you take your dog for a walk, you're training it, whether you know it or not, because you're either teaching it how to walk the right way, or you're letting it get away with horrible behaviors on the walk, which is training it. Whether you want to or not, you are conditioning the dog on how to behave. And that's where a lot of people go wrong. They do not realize every single second of the day, every single rep that your dog gets of doing something, whether right or wrong, is establishing patterns of behavior. So when you let your dog go out the front door, how do you let them go out the front door? Granted, you're not training them. You don't have your trainer's pouch on, and you're not like really focusing on what you're doing. And that's kind of where the problem lies. I know you're not training your dog at that moment. You're just trying to get out the door to go to work. But it's how you get out the door and go to work, how you do it, how you structure that makes a difference, right? Makes a big difference. I'm not training my kids when I put them in the car to take them somewhere, but I'm making sure they put their seatbelt on, right? Making sure that they don't just open the door and step out of the car into traffic or something when we're in a parking lot. So we're constantly keeping an eye on our kids, but we got to be doing the same for our dogs. And that's really what today is about, is how when it comes to training your dog or doing like a do-it-yourself dog training program, like the ones that we promote here, it really only requires you to set aside 5 to 15 minutes a day, up to twice a day. That's it, twice a day. Once a day is fine. Twice a day, you're killing it. Beyond that, you're kind of wasting your time. And we focus in on actually training our dog, meaning we're going to train them with food. They're going to eat twice a day, right? Most dogs are eating twice a day, sometimes once a day, sometimes 3 times a day. It all depends what you're doing. Those times where you're feeding them is an invaluable opportunity, right? Irreplaceable opportunity to teach them something new. Right? To use the food as a form of currency exchange, as motivation to connect with your dog. What we call it dinner and a show. Because the other alternative is what? Put food down on the ground and walk away and they eat by themselves. Why don't you train with them? Make it an enjoyable, fun experience. And so what I'm asking you all to do is do that. That's all that's required to teach your dog super high level of obedience. And so some people freak out. Oh, I don't know if I have time. I don't know if I can do it. Well, you got a dog, didn't you? You're spending time with that dog, aren't you? You're taking it on walks. You're cuddling with it on a couch. You're letting it in and out of your back door. People are coming over and meeting your dog. Every single thing that I just mentioned, every time you interact with your dog or your dog interacts with its environment, it's actually training itself. It's learning things. And so all we try to show you is how to properly do that. So you're going to take your dog for a walk anyways. And again, there's a right way to do it and there's a wrong way to do it. And if you do it the right way, it's 10 times more enjoyable, 100 times more enjoyable. We just took a dog yesterday. You guys can watch for this video. A golden retriever is about 65, 70 pounds. Pulls like a freight train, man. This little dog pulls hard as hell. And I'm like, my shoulder and my arm socket getting tired of getting yanked here, there, and everywhere. And so this dog's been, I asked the owner actually, how does she walk? Because the dog was just dropped off like 48 hours. And she's like, oh, she walks great. I'm like, okay, maybe she does, you know? And I said, you got any formal training with the dog? Sometimes we get dogs to our program that have been to 1, 2, 3 other trainers. So it's not abnormal for them all, you know, to have some type of training, puppy classes, those Bobo puppy classes. She's like, no, but she does walk great. Man, as soon as the owner left, we went for a walk. I'm like, this dog walks horrible. But in the owner's mind, this was pretty good walking. I mean, because again, I've seen worse, but it's horrible. And I'm like, well, no, this is just not how we're doing it. But you know how many times that dog's been walked in that fashion, or shall we say the wrong way? All we did was reel the dog back in and we fixed it in as little as 5 to 10 minutes. Done. It's done. And we filmed all of that completely unedited and edited, and we'll put that up on YouTube to show you like how anybody can get their dog to walk perfect in like 5, 10 minutes. And that's it, done. And every walk going forward, we're just going to do it the right way. That's all it is. So a lot of dog training isn't even, you know, like traditional training with food and clickers and marking. It's just every day. Just every day. It's like the difference between you go to somebody's house and they have great kids and you go to somebody's house and their kids are horrible. I don't think it's a lack of like training sessions. I think it's just a lack of oversight. And so that's all dog training really is having the proper oversight. And I get it too, because I make it sound easy. And I mean, for me it is, and it will be for you too, once you realize what's required. And that's kind of what I'm talking about is I get it. Like, so for this lady who dropped off the golden retriever, she just didn't know any better. She was like, yeah, she walks pretty good. But it's because she's never been behind the leash of a dog that really walks really good. If she had, she would know that what the golden retriever is doing, Sunny is her name, that Sunny walks horrible. Furthermore, even if you recognize that your dog walks horrible and it's unbelievably frustrating, if you don't know these little secret tips and techniques and the little recipe to make it happen, then you'd be at a loss and it's extremely frustrating. So it's easy for me to sit here and say, oh yeah, it's easy. But it is once you know what you need to do, whether it's walking your dog, feeding your dog, asking them to sit and to stay when you have guests come over, making sure the dog doesn't jump on them, you know, whatever issues you're having, jumping on the counter, digging holes in your backyard, all of these things are really, really easily solved once you understand what you need to do. And so that's what we specialize in here is, you know, walking you through the process, showing you the way. And the other reason we're having this live is to remind everybody that's here that today is the final day of our huge launch sale on our premium membership. And I know it sounds like I'm plugging my course. I'm plugging the course for y'all's benefit because we have never, ever in the history of our company combined all of our courses into one bundle, and we've never done it at the price point that we're doing it. So just to put it in perspective, all of our courses combined, if you were to take each one a la carte, a little over $2,100, $2,100, which seems like a lot of money, and it is a lot of money, but it's not compared to what it would cost to send your dog to a board and train program or to do private lessons with somebody else. And I'll just put that into perspective. Most private lessons from anyone that's decent is going to be like $3,500 for 10 lessons, 10 one-hour lessons. Let's just clarify that. That's 10 hours of training, which isn't going to do jack diddly for your dog, to be honest with you. It's not going to do too much. When you do proper private lesson training, we've done them. We very rarely do them now, but when we do them, it is nothing to do with the dog. I like 5% of the training is for the dog. The other 95% of the training is for the human. So that what I teach you in that 1 hour, we do 4-hour blocks, but what I teach you in that session carries over for the other 160 hours in the week that you're going to be spending with your dog potentially, or however many hours you spend with your dog, you work from home or whatever it is. Because again, that's when training actually happens, when you're with your dog from the moment they wake up to the moment they go to sleep. They are learning what they can and cannot do in their environment, what gets them paid and what causes them pain and suffering or discomfort, right? And dogs aren't stupid, right? They're experts at finding their path through life, and all they look to do is to better their position in life. Every minute of every hour of every day, they're just trying to find a way to be more comfortable, to be more, to get more pets and to get more food in their tummy, etc., or to get more balls thrown their way. So anyways, got off on a little tangent there, but the private training, $3,500, give or take, $3,000, you get 10 hours. Well, our premium membership has over 60 hours of training, 60 hours, plus the lives, which is 1 hour a week, plus we're adding in another course within the next maybe a month or so, maybe a little less than that, where we take a golden retriever Mac and show you every single training session from zero to hero, right? You all have asked for it, so we're going to deliver. So it's something like another 20 hours of material right there. So now we're going to be around 80 plus hours of material. 80 hours for $2,100, or 10 hours for $3,500. But it's not just that. That's why I get it, man. Times are tough. So we didn't want to do it at $2,100. We dropped it to $1,200. $1,200 for over 80 hours of material. And that's just starting now, because guess what? We have another course that we're going to be building out. It's called a free shaping course. There is not a course on the internet, period, that touches free shaping, just letting you know. And so we're going to bang that one out. Y'all going to love it. It's the most powerful form of training that nobody even talks about. We do it all the time. It is sprinkled in here and there in some of our courses, but we're actually going to dedicate an entire course just to free shaping. And in a nutshell, for those of you who wonder what free shaping is, it's exactly what I'm talking about. Like even when I started this conversation, that your day-to-day life with your dog is what's shaping the behaviors that we want to see out of them. They're constantly free shaping, right? What is free shaping? Free shaping is them learning by themselves what's best for them. And so an example of free shaping is you leave your sandwich on the kitchen counter and your dog smells it. Man, that smells good. Man, I'm hungry. Boy, that salami looks good. And they jump up there and they eat it. They just train themselves in one rep through free shaping, meaning you weren't even in the room. But the dog jumped on the counter and ate the sandwich, and they came out with like a net positive, right? Agreed? Everybody likes their sandwiches. Dog likes the sandwiches too. And when they eat the sandwich, they're like, hey, I got it. When I smell sandwich on counter and you're hungry, you just jump up there and eat it. And life's better, period. That's it, done, written in stone. And that's the scary part of free shaping, is how deep the learning is. That dog will not forget that for a very long time, how tasty that sandwich was. And so I guarantee you, the next time you put a sandwich up on the counter, the dog's going to go for it. Why? Because history's proven itself that when you're hungry, all you got to do is jump on the counter and eat it. That's how dogs learn bad behaviors. They don't just come out with bad behaviors. It's developed over these little reps, little individual, sometimes singular reps that have huge outcomes, right? Long-lasting outcomes. That's just one example. Let me give you another example of free shaping. Maybe someone can post in the comments, what they believe an example of free shaping is, good or bad. While we're waiting, I will give you another example of free shaping. Okay, here's one that just comes to mind, because the front door is right there. Why did dogs shoot out the front door? Because somewhere in the past, just one rep is all it took. Was you may have asked your dog to stay, whether it no stay or not is kind of pointless. It doesn't really matter. But you open the door and something either caught their nose or caught their eye and made them go like, yo, I'd like to go outside and see what that is. I think I smell a bunny. You open that door, the odor comes in, and they shoot out. You didn't want them to shoot out. They shot out on their own. And when they shoot out on their own, they get to chase the bunny. They get a big dopamine dump. It's a lot of fun chasing the bunny, and it's a great time. Lasting memory. One rep, lasting memory. when you're looking for a good time, shoot out the front door. Good times are to be had. And so in one rep, the dog just free shit. You didn't want it to run out the front door. I'll give you one that's even worse than that. Y'all have ever heard of dogs that can open their own doors? Maybe somebody in here has opened their own door and shot out. That's another example of free shaping. Who taught the dog how to open the door? Like who took the time to train that into the dog? Probably you didn't take the time to do that. And if you did, like, you're probably shooting yourself now. But most dogs, the ones that learn how to open the door, Huskies come to mind, freaky smart dogs. You didn't open the door. Self-discovery. Through self-discovery, through sometimes just an accident, they discover through free shaping, meaning you had nothing to do with it, how to open doors. And Lord have mercy, once they know how to open a door, that's it. That's all she wrote. Only takes one rep. You know how that rep develops? You may lock your dog in a room or not. I don't know. There's just a closed door somewhere in your house. And out of frustration, your dog's barking, 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 maybe pawing at the door, maybe nuzzling. Like, man, I know this door opens somehow. I don't know how to do it. And then at some point, it just paws the door just right. Door opens. That's all she wrote. One rep that your dog taught itself. And now that's it. You're done. Like the dog, how are you going to unteach that? How are you going to make the dog forget that that's how you open the door? You're not. You're not. So one more example of free shaping right there. Anyways, but that's the bad part of free shaping. What's the good part of free shaping? If you can take the idea that it only takes one rep to have this lasting impression, we can talk about how you can use free shaping as a lasting impression for your dog, but for something good. So for instance, we've all seen, probably have seen that there's a multiple of ways to get your dog to go on a place board. And I can go on and on about how valuable the place board can be for just your day-to-day living with your dog. But the easy ones that come to mind is to use food and lure your dog on the place board. Nothing wrong with that. We do it. To use a leash, to use proper e-collar training, recall. There's like more than a handful of ways to get your dog to go on the place board. But the most powerful way to get your dog to go on the place board? And by powerful, I mean it's deeper. It's a deeper level of learning. It's cemented in their brain forever, and they think they invented it, right? We go back to the idea of the husky that opens its own door and how much freedom it gives that dog, and how hey, watch this, baby, watch this. Whoop, open the door. What if we use that same principle of training, but we taught the dog to go on the place board? Let's see, I got to use my words carefully. We didn't teach the dog to go on the place board. It taught itself to go on the place board. And then in the process of teaching itself to go on the place board, it realizes that when I go on the place board, I get paid the big bucks. Nobody even in this household even realizes it. When I go on the place board, that guy over there, he's going to give me treats. Watch this. And he goes on, gets treats, bang. And it's through free shaping and setting up your environment, you can basically trick the dog into thinking that they invented the game. And it's not even really a trick. It's just patience. It takes a lot of patience and self-discovery. And so that's the only downfall with free shaping, is you got to have a lot of patience. And it takes, you could say it takes longer, but the results are like immeasurably better. And I don't even know if it takes longer. It takes a little longer to get that first rep. But once you get that first rep, that's all you need. And then it's cemented. And now I'm going to use a really, really good example of free shaping. You all can write this down. And you can beg, borrow, and steal from me, because I'm beg, borrowing, and stealing from my friend Justin Rigney. He just posted this on Instagram or something like about a month ago. And I'm like, oh, this guy just, this is it. Because I'm all about my analogies. I think that's how I think. And I think it's the best way for people to learn. I'm going to give you a really killer analogy. Is it an analogy or a metaphor? Y'all help me out, because I don't know. Check this one out. He was out of town teaching a police canine seminar or something. And the guys at the seminar told him, hey, Justin, this is amazing burger joint. It's like 3 minutes down the road. You got to meet us there. And so what do we do in this day and age? Like, oh yeah, what's the name of it? Can you shoot me over the Google link to it, so that what he can punch it in his GPS on his phone, and his phone will take him right there, right? And so that's what he did. So he punches it in on his phone. Hey, take me to the burger joint. sets the phone up on the dashboard and drives there. 3 minutes later, he's there, right? Eats the food. It was amazing. The very next day, they're like, yo, let's go back to that burger joint, man. It was so good. We should hit it again. And Justin's like, yeah, we could go again. Hey, can you send me the address again? So what are you talking about, bro? It's 3 minutes down the road. You were just there yesterday. He goes, yeah, but I used my GPS to take me there. And in short, even though Justin was just there the day before, and Justin's not a stupid guy, he's a very smart guy. Why is it that Justin couldn't remember how to get there? It's because he didn't have to think about it the first time. He didn't have to put hardly any effort. He just listened to left, right, forward, turn here. It's exactly the same way that when we are teaching our dogs to go on the place board using food lures, again, there's nothing wrong with it, but we are steering like a GPS person, right? Make a left here, 2 steps forward, boom, you're at your destination. Wash, rinse, repeat that. Yeah. If Justin used the GPS every day for like a week to get to the burger joint, yeah, maybe after a week or two, you wouldn't need the GPS anymore. And that's a maybe, by the way, because it depends where you're coming from. So that's an example of food luring or leash pressuring a dog to a place board. And it's the human equivalent of not free shaping something. Okay, so now let's give you a shaping example, okay? And put on your seatbelts, get ready for this one. We're rewinding to the first day. Hey, Justin, there's a really good burger joint. You should check it out. Sure, what's the name of it? It's Frank's Burger Joint. Cool, I'll see you there. And they leave him, and his phone's not working. He can't Google it, right? He left his phone, the battery's dead. Whatever scenario you need to paint in your, like 10 years ago, right? Before, everybody had GPS on their phone to do something called ask for directions. What happens is, let's just walk through that day for Justin. It's like, damn, I got to get to Frank's Burger Joint. I have no idea where it is. What does he do? He might ask the person at the hotel he's staying at, hey, how do you get to Frank's Burger Joint? They'll probably pull it up on their GPS. But anyway, they'll say, yeah, it's a good spot. You got to go down this way. After that second light, you're going to see a big tree. The tree's going to have a sign hanging from it. That's where you make your first left. And anyways, they give these crazy ass directions. And what ends up happening is Justin leaves out of the hotel, and without question, he's probably going to get lost. But even along the way, whether he gets lost or not, he's going to be paying a lot of attention to where he's going, what streets he's on, what street is he on. He's watching every sign that comes by. He's kind of thinking about where he is in like the map of his brain. Like, okay, I know we took a right from the hotel. Okay, I think we're heading north. And anyways, he doesn't find the burger joint on the first go. Maybe a little closer. So he stops. He goes into a gas station and he asks directions again. They're like, oh, yeah. You missed it, man. You got to go back. You got to make on Jefferson Street. Oh, okay. So now, and you see what's happening here is Justin's learning his own way through a type of free shaping. He's going to find his own way to the burger joint. And it might take him 45 minutes to get there. What should have only took him 3 minutes, right? 45 minutes later, he arrives at the burger joint, and he finally arrives. And let me tell you, he's like, God dang, I made it. And in the first example, when the GPS told him, hey, you're here, there was no exhilaration of like, woo, I made it. I can't believe it. Of course you made it. The GPS got you there. But on the other example where he had to do it himself, there's a sense of pride, a sense of accomplishment, and it's going to stay with him for a while. Now, we're not just finished there, we're almost done. He finds the burger joint, and then hopefully the burgers were worth the 45-minute, rigmarole to get there. And they were, and it was amazing. And now we fast forward to day 2. And this is where things get really interesting with free shaping versus food luring. On day 2, they're like, hey, Justin, remember that burger joint that's so good? Frank's Spot? He goes, yeah, I know Frank's Spot. We'll see you there. He's like, yeah, I'll see you there in 3 minutes. No GPS needed, no asking directions. He's going to be able to get to Frank's Burger Joint he's got it. He can walk there, no problem. Why? Because he put in the work on day 1. Now, it might have took him a lot longer on day 1, but come day 2, he's much more much more capable of doing the job. And so you think of that with your dog when it comes to the place board. If you're food luring your dog to the place board and food luring your dog to the place board, yeah, they're going to figure it out. And it's still an amazing way to get your dog on the place board and teach them that. What happens though the day when you turn off the food luring and you say, hey, Bubba, go to place? They're like, yeah, but I need that GPS, man. Where's the GPS? You got to help me out. I don't know how to get there. And even though our dogs are super smart, there's something that they're not great with, and that's like what I call mental pathways, or they're not great with I don't know, geography, or if you will, space. Try it at home with your dog. Teach your dog to go to the place board from the front door to the place board, from the front door to the place board. Do that 1,000 times, and your dog will nail it. Take your dog to the back door and tell them to go to place, and they're going to look at you like you're stupid. What? You want to what? Huh? Where's the place? What are you talking about? Where's the place board? Where is it? And it could be right there, 10 feet away. They won't know how to get there because you never GPSed them there. You never GPS. They've never done it. It's just like Justin going to Frank's burger spot. Oh, he can get there from the hotel. Yes, he can. But can he get there from the other hotel that's 10 miles down the road? I don't know. Maybe. So anyways, interesting conversation. And hopefully that makes some sense. And that's the power of free shaping. Kind of got off on a tangent there, but again, really what I'm stressing to you all is this is one of the courses that's going to become part of our premium membership very soon. We already started filming it. We just need to do some more work, get some more dogs in there. And what I'd like to do is, again, remind you, today's the day, baby. You know, you owe it to yourself, you owe it to your dog, you owe it to all the future relationships you ever plan to have with your dog or any other dog that comes into your life. The premium membership is on a sale right now. It's launch sale that you're never going to find these numbers again. We already told you it's $2,100 worth of material that we've bundled together for $1,200. But because we're launching it, we want everyone to have access to it with no excuses. We have a coupon code available. It's on our website. All you got to do is go there, punch in your email. They send it right to your email immediately. You have your own special coupon code that you can use to get the price of the course, and not $1,200. Correct me if I'm wrong. I believe it's $947, which is just, you're not finding that value anywhere. Not in person, not in the board and the train, not on any online course anywhere on God's green earth are you going to find soon to be 80, soon to be 100 hours worth of material for that price. This is not going to happen. That doesn't even include the fact that we support you along the way in every single course. That doesn't include, we're talking about, because it does include the weekly lives we do like this, because as soon as I finish this, tomorrow actually, we have scheduled our weekly live. It's set aside only for our premium members, where we answer any and every question. Just like y'all asking a ton of questions right here, but I can't answer those questions because there's too many of y'all in here. We'll never get it done. I'll try to answer a few here in a minute. We have some time coming up. But well, for our premium members, we answer every single question. Whether you can attend or not, you can pre-submit questions. You get the questions to my moderators. The moderators get the questions to me, or you come and show up live. It doesn't matter. Any dog-related training question is answered, and any questions answered. It doesn't even need to be dog training related. Whatever you have a question about that we can help you with, we help you with. And I haven't been stumped yet. I look forward to the day that I'm stumped. Been stumped close a couple times, but even if I get close to being stumped, all I got to do is go through, you know what? My dog trainer's Bible. You want to see it? Let me pull it out for you. My dog trainer's Bible. Ready? This, my phone, my dirty phone. Now they see greasy, dirty. You know what that is? Greasy kibble and food from dog training. I touch my phone in the middle of dog training and get slobber on it. But that's it. This is my dog trainer's Bible right here. You know why? Because if I don't have the answer up here, it's in here. You know how it's in here? Just make a phone call. Hey, Justin. Hey, Chad. Hey, KC. Hey, whoever. I'm having trouble. What are your thoughts? And then I usually don't just ask one person. I'll ask a lot of them, right? Every dog trainer that I know, that I trust, that I believe in. And it's funny because if you ask 5 dog trainers how to handle a particular problem, you're going to get 5 answers, well, guaranteed. But it's neat because all 5 answers, they work. They just work in their own different way. You know what I mean? So you can't be a great dog trainer in isolation. It's impossible. So you've either learned, that was this interesting conversation maybe that we'll have for another day. I was just thinking on it, and we might save it for a live one day, but it's like, how do you become a professional dog trainer? Like, you read a book, or can you do it on your own in isolation? Can you live up in the middle of nowhere, Alaska, with no internet service and just learn on your own by struggling through it? Maybe, but probably not. And even if you did, like, it would take you forever to figure it out. Instead, you know, what we do, what most great dog trainers do, beg, borrow, and steal from other dog trainers. And anyone that says they don't use other people's methods, or they did it all on their own, fucking lying to you, because we're all constantly learning from others. And yeah, obviously you can do a lot on your own to further it. Like, there's a lot of methods that I came up with on my own, just struggling and grinding, right? Whether it's literally 3 a.m, I got home late from work back when I was a police officer, and a couple dogs needed to be trained. It's it, me and the dog in the living room or in the garage or in the front yard, just working through a problem. Like, I know we can work through this, and I might not know the answer, and it's too late to ask someone for it. So we're just gonna figure it out together. And by doing that, yeah, you can learn some pretty cool new tricks and techniques and methods. And so there is something to it, but you can't do that without already having a base layer of knowledge that you've picked up from other people. So, and that's what we offer to you. Again, all of my over 20 years worth of experience training police dogs, training civilian dogs, I pour all of it, everything I have, into our courses. That's why they're so good. And I don't say they're so good like, oh, cocky. No, I believe in my courses. I know they work. I see the feedback. I see the 5-star reviews. We get the emails about how we've transformed people and their dogs' lives all over the world. And nothing makes me more proud. And so I can confidently sit here and say, like, they're the best. Our program is, whew, and it's so good too, because we're still working on them. We're still improving them as best we can. We just continue to add to them. Like I said, we just doubled the size of our Puppy Essentials course, doubled the size of it, because it needed it. And we're going to come back to it again and make it even better and make it even better. Added more dogs into the program, right? So a lot of people think like, yeah, but Garret, you know, I see you training that Cane Corso. I see you training that Rottweiler, but those methods won't work for my fill in the blank. Of course they will. It's a dog, right? American Standard dog training, not American Standard Corso training. All right. Yeah. Dogs of different breeds kind of, yeah, generally speaking, can have different personalities. But I'll put it this way, just because you can train one Corso, right? One Rottweiler, that Rottweiler has a very particular personality, and not all Rottweilers have the same personality. They're all different, all of them. And so you can't just say like, oh, well, he knows how to train Rottweilers, but he doesn't know how to train, name it, you know, whatever dog you can imagine, a Frenchie. I'm just trying to think of something completely different. It's all the same, baby. It's all the same. The only real difference is just the size of the dog, and that tweaks your training just a little bit. Meaning, if I'm going to teach a Great Dane how to do sits and downs, I have to be standing up for that. There's no question about it. And I probably wouldn't put a Great Dane up on a table because they'd be towering over me. But we use tables a lot for training. You know why? For a number of reasons. Isolation, this and that. But mostly, number one, to save my back, baby. I'm 40 years old. My back ain't what it used to be. 20 years being a police officer and wearing that stupid gun belt the whole time puts a toll on your back. So point being, we use tables a lot. But I wouldn't use the Great Dane on a table. That's just silly. But when I get a Pomeranian in, or a Yorkie, or you name it, a mini Labradoodle, and the point being a dog that's like 5, 10, 15, 20 pounds, that's a dog that we spend more time training on a table because of my poor back. I don't want to be, can you imagine I'm standing, I'm 5'10", and we got a dog like Snow who's like this high off the ground. If I want to feed that dog, I got to bend down and feed it. But other than that, other than the height difference and the size difference between dogs, they all learn the same way. They all learn the same way. And yet, yes, we have to make special accommodations for every individual dog because they may have strengths and weaknesses that we need to pay attention to. But notice I didn't say anything about breed. It has nothing to do about breed. It has to do about the individual dog, right? And you can think about that when it comes to human children, right? You want to think about the different varieties of children, the different size of children, the different ethnic background and where they came from and what language they speak and learning disabilities and this and that, that. But guess what? They all go to school, the same school. And yes, maybe some need help, a little special help here, a little special help there. But most children, right? 99% of children learn pretty much the same way. Yes, some might be better at listening, some might be better at doing, and some might be better at watching. Same with dogs. But there is no classification when it comes to human children, like by looking at them, oh, that's this breed of child. So because that's this breed of child and they were born and raised in South Florida, right? And they are such and such whatever, they come from, let's just say it, right? South Florida. They come from Cuba, we have to treat that child different because they are of a Cuban heritage. We have to train them different. No, of course not. So just because the Rottweiler has a certain genealogy or heritage and comes from, this doesn't matter. That Rottweiler is going to get trained the same as this Chihuahua, right? It's the same type. Now, we might make slight differences, not because of the breed, maybe because of the size. And again, just to save your back. But more importantly, it's the personality of the dog that makes a difference. And beautiful case in point is the golden retriever we're training now. I just mentioned her. That's a golden retriever. And you think, oh, golden retriever, and I do it too, right? Professional dog trainer. One of the first questions I ask when someone's inquiring about dog training, well, what breed is it? Because yes, it makes some difference in the fact that, like, again, the size is one. And there are, generally speaking, don't forget that, generally, there are certain attributes that go with certain dog breeds, right? Let me tell you what I'm talking about. Golden retriever, first things that come to mind: excited energy, overly friendly, literally will just lick you to death, super excited to meet people, very socially driven and motivated. Lots and lots of energy. It just keeps coming back to that, like this positive energy, but many oftentimes too much energy, if there was such a thing. Golden retrievers have that. That's generally speaking. And may I also say, here's the big one, softer natured, meaning very, very, like if you yell at a golden retriever, oh, you just broke their heart, right? You even just raise your voice. They're like, oh my God. Oh my God. Generally speaking, most golden retrievers are like that. Not all, because case in point, right over here to my left, we got Sunny the golden retriever. She's a little socially motivated, but she's more like a freaking Malinois. That's what she reminds me of. Her level of energy, but more importantly, she's just a hard-ass dog. Hard-ass dog. You can yell at her if you want to. She won't even pay attention to you. This dog's on another level. And so if I just try to train her like every other golden retriever, it would be a freaking huge fail. No, we don't care so much about the breed, right? It's more the individual personality. And this particular dog right here is hard as nails, right? Doesn't care, takes corrections like, oh, that's all you got? Who cares? Pulls hard on the leash. Very, very smart. Too smart for her own good almost. Trying to outsmart the system. And she's extremely independent is another word I would explain. There's a lot of dogs that very subservient to humans. You know what they say, like eager to please. This dog is not eager to please any human. This dog is eager to please herself and herself only. She could give a rat's ass about your feelings or your opinions. This dog is just on another level. And they had her on 2 different types of medication, prescribed medication from a vet for basically what they consider to be doggy ADD. And they had her on some other type of downer because she was just so manic and all the issues she has. Well, we're going to talk about it in future videos. But my point being, we don't train her like a golden retriever. We train her like Sunny the dog that needs a lot of help in a lot of areas. And so I don't want y'all to ever get hung up on, well, you know, I've never seen you train an Alaskan Malamute, So obviously you don't know how to train an Alaskan Malamute. It's a dog, right? It's got 4 legs and a tail and uses its nose to smell things, and it likes to eat food. I'll train your Alaskan Malamute, no problem. It's all the same. Yeah, slight little, deviations here or there, but it's not about the breed. Individual dog, right? Their genetics, how they were raised, how they were socialized, their God-given talents, and that's the way it goes. So either way, what we still strive for in all of our courses is to have a ridiculous amount of variety. Every age, every breed that we can get our hands on, all types of temperaments, which is more important to me than the breed. But some of you want to see your own breed in the course, no problem. We're trying our best, but hundreds and hundreds of breeds. I don't know if we'll ever have every single breed. Like, I don't know if I'm going to have an Afghan hound anytime soon. Never even seen one in my life. But if I get my hands on one, absolutely, we'll film it. We'll put it in the course. But again, doesn't matter if it's an Afghan hound, a Frenchie, a bull mastiff. They all learn the same way. They really do. With some slight deviations, not based on breed, based on personality. And that, I can tell you, is we get definitely hit all manners of temperaments in our courses, right? All hard-ass dogs, hard dogs, all the way down to the softest, most fragile dogs that if you sneeze, they run under the table. They're so scared. Super food-motivated dogs to dogs that have no food drive whatsoever. You name it. That's what's covered in our courses. So we definitely cover that, because that, again, to me is more important than having every single breed. It's having every single type of temperament on, because that's what you're dealing with at home. That's what you're dealing with. So anyways, I think maybe it's time to hit up a couple questions and see if I can even find them. Here we go. Take me just 1 second to pull this up. There it is. Let's see what kind of questions we have. A bunch. So we're going to go back. First one from Michael and Riley. Do you have a semi-standard outline or training schedule when a dog comes in your program? Yeah, we do. That's a great question, Michael and Riley. We have what we call a board, and every dog's on the board. And basically what we put on the board is every command that we want the dog to know. And then we do, and you can do this at home, and we talk about it in some of our courses, but we hit the board and it's blank. It's got nothing. And sometimes, and rather than not even it having nothing, we use a red marker, and we might check off with a red marker what is horrible. So let's say you had up there walking, right? How do they walk on a leash? If that dog's horrible at walking and it needs to be addressed sooner than later, we'll put an X there with a red marker. And that's to signify to every trainer that's working with that dog, hey, this needs to be focused on right now. But what else will we have up there? Sit, down, heeling, placeboard, crate, and anything else that the owner might want. All of the main behaviors that we want to see that dog have at the end of, say, a 6-week training program. We have it up there, and it's like I don't know what you would compare it to, but maybe like when you were a kid in first grade or something, and the teacher would give you a gold star, right, for your reading, a gold star for your math, and the trick is to try to get as many gold stars as you can. It's the same thing. I want, when it's done, what's mandatory is that every dog goes home with a full 5-star rating in every category. And then it goes much deeper than that, but that's just the general idea, because the chart we made is, it gets very specific that not only do they have 5 stars, but if they go on place, can they go on place? I'll just give you an example. Will they go on the place board with a food, a hand, a voice, a leash pressure, and an e-collar command? They must have all of those. So we have the acronym. It's not even, is it an acronym? FHVLE. Doesn't stand for anything other than food, hand, voice, leash, and e-collar. And so every single command that the dog does, they must not only have a 5-star, but a check off in all of those different boxes. So that's important. So good question. And that's the outline / training schedule, if you will. Like, we're following that. I don't know if I answered your question correctly, but that's like our little guide as to what the dog needs. And then when the dog comes for training, every day we're training. We're consulting the board to see what the dog needs the most help with. And then typically, and again, we use that red marker to really signify something where the dog might need extra help, and we focus on those areas. So next question from, this is a hard one. The Real Jasco, the Real Jasu. What sparked your interest to originally get into dog training? What was your first ever dog? Oh, good question. So my father was a police canine handler since before I was born. He was a canine handler since 1981. I was born in 83. So it literally just part of our life, because when you are a police canine trainer, like he was for 28 years, it's a long time. When you're around that from birth, like it's just part of life. And so they say in the police canine training world, hey, Steph, do me a favor. I need Thanos put up, or Z. When you're around that, well, you don't even think about it. It's just kind of part of life. But we say this in the police canine training world, which is being a police canine handler is not just a job. It's not a job. It is it's a lifestyle. It literally is a lifestyle, because even when you're at your 9 to 5 or whatever, you're a police canine handler, your shift ends at 10 p.m. Yeah, you're bringing the dog home, and you got to feed him when you get home, and you got to brush him, you got to bathe him, and then what do you do with him? Is he sleeping in your bed? And that happens even on your days off. So it's 7 days, it's 365, 24/7. You're with that dog. Now that's my father's a canine handler. Yeah, but I lived in the same household, so that's it. It was just police dog all the time, everywhere. Just part of the family, so to speak. But then, because it's also a lifestyle, we'd go to police canine competitions, and I would go do something, they call it the pig bowl, but it would be the two rival police agencies would have a football match. But I didn't care about the football match. I cared about the halftime show, because you know what was cool about the halftime show? They bring out the SWAT guys and the canine dogs, and the canine dogs stole the show every time. We're talking about canine dogs rappelling out of helicopters and all kinds of skits and police chases, because we would be in the Orange Bowl, the old Orange Bowl, but a big football stadium where the Hurricanes used to play and the Dolphins. And anyways, we would watch the dogs perform on the field. And so like, it's just part of life. And then I started getting involved. Like I took my first bite when I was like, I think I was like 7 or 8. I don't remember how old I was, but young. And that's it. So back to your thing, what sparked your interest to get into dog training? It's just always kind of been a part of it. And then my first big boy job was when I turned 18, and my father helped me get the job. And that was being an explosive ordnance detection dog handler, which is just a bomb dog handler. This is post 9/11/2001. So I started that job like December, January. So just a couple months after 2001 with the World Trade Center. And so everyone was on high alert as far as security goes around the country. And their concern was IEDs and things like that. So I got hired by a company it's a long story, but basically the same folks that would supply most of the police canine agencies in the US, or at least in the southern states, with police dogs, importing them from Europe. I got hired with that company to handle the bomb dogs. And so that's when I really got my hands on these powerful dogs, and was training them every day. It's just part of what you need to do to keep them sharp and to keep them motivated, was to constantly put out training aids and training hides. So that was my first like hands-on experience with police dogs, because none of them were police dogs yet, but they were all keeping sharp and doing bite work, because they were being prepped for sale. So we would use them as bomb dogs for 3 months, 6 months, a year, unless an agency came, liked the dog, then they would buy the dog, and that dog would then become a real police dog. So my job was to maintain those dogs, to a pretty high level. I was taught by my own father how to do that and how to be the best at it. And anyways, we're I could talk to you for hours about that, but my first personal dog that I owned, that I went and bought for myself, I think I would have to say it was well, me and my wife, when we first met, she had her own dog. So that was the first dog that came and lived with me in like my first apartment. Oreo was his name. He was a mutt. He was mixed with all kinds of stuff. Big dog, beautiful dog. He ended up dying from bone cancer. And then we ended up getting Chief, was a black lab. Adopted him from a shelter. And then we got Zephos, my Cane Corso, and then now we got Thanos. And so, but I never needed to buy a dog. We always had dogs in the house because we lived with them, because we didn't just have the current police dog in the house. We had the retired police dog in the house. And then we also had we always had like an extra pet German Shepherd. So I'm gonna find the picture later, but there's a cool picture of my father and all of our it's like 3 different German Shepherds, all, we're all staying in the same house together. So, good question. We're going to go to Swish Studios. Says, thank you for everything you do and show us. No, thank you. And thank you for the $5. Appreciate it. Help buy me a coffee. And that's that dog trainer's fuel. If you all didn't know, a little bit of coffee. So thank you, Swish Studios. It's very nice of you. And Mercy Cat, another $5 donated. Thank you very much. That's going to be my coffee for later this evening. If I have you train my dog in person and stay in the area, will I get to visit him? So yes and no. When we do boarding and training, it depends on the dog. Some dogs really get thrown off, the less confident dogs. It's like a kid going to summer camp, right? I just like using that example. Some kids, when they go to summer camp, they can't wait to get dropped off, and they're not even saying bye to their parents. They're like, yeah, bye. And they're off into summer camp, living their best life. Then there's other kids that get dropped off at summer camp and they're freaking out and they're scared and like, oh my God. And that first night or 2 or 3, they're scared, they're alone. And where's mom? Where's dad? I miss my family. I miss my friends, until they get into the rhythm of it. And then they learn to love the summer camp. And so that's what happens sometimes with the dogs that come into our board and train program. The 2 that we just got, they could care less that their owners left them. They're like, yeah, bye. We're here having fun. And they don't even think nothing of it. And then we have other ones who are really beside themselves, a little stressed out, might not eat for a day or 2 because they're really stressed, more fragile temperamented dogs. And then we have to bring them out of their shell. And so with these dogs like that people want to come visit, I'm like, no. Look, it's your dog. You can come visit if you want to. But my professional recommendation is don't, because you're just going to restart the cycle. You're going to get its hopes up, you can get it excited, and then you're going to leave again. And they don't really understand the whole idea of you coming and going. They don't get it, right? You can't tell the dog, hey, this is only a 6-week program. And so that's very unfair to the dog. And of course, unfair to us when we train it, because you can start the cycle over again where they kind of can go into almost like a depression for a day or 2. So it really screws up the training. So for those dogs, we would say, no. You visiting it every day, you just starting the cycle all over. But we always, we send in videos, updates, multiple times a week, showing where the dog is at in its training and how well it's doing. And just generally, even when it's on break time and playing with other dogs, to show them, remember how your dog was not happy the first day? Check this out. And the dog's living its best life, playing in the backyard or going on an adventure somewhere. And then they realize oh, okay, I made the right decision. Yes, of course. So yeah, when it comes to, if we train your dog, can you visit? You can visit, but we generally say, hey, don't recommend it. At the 4-week mark, there's a mandatory visitation because it's a one-on-one training. But outside of that, that 6 weeks flies by like this. You get the video updates. You get the one mandatory visit that we need you to come visit for training. But other than that, we try to keep visitation to a minimum so as not to disrupt the training process. All right, Keller, if you are unlikely to be able to walk or train your dogs for a while, what can you do at home in case due to having a baby? So I think that kind of goes back to what we were talking about, Keller. What can you do at home? Whatever you need to do. Your dog's going to go out back to pee, right? Or you're going to take it on a walk, right? You're going to do something. You're going to feed the dog. You're going to pet the dog. You're going to be living with the dog. You don't really need to train the dog, in the traditional sense of teaching it something new. You just need to make sure it's behaving. That's all. That's all. If you're going to let it out the back door to go pee, I'll make it simple for you. There's a right way and a wrong way. I will also say there's an easy way and a hard way at first, but I don't like using that term, but bear with me. Let me tell you the wrong way. The dog barks at the back door, starts pawing the back door, and you open it and it shoots through the back door like a wild animal. I call that the wrong way. But the dog does need to go out back and pee, right? So instead we set up the better way. And that is, no. Barking doesn't get you to go outside. Clawing at the door definitely doesn't get you to go outside. When you sit there like a gentleman, then you can go outside. When you sit there like a gentleman, I'm going to open the door. And you do not shoot out like a wild animal. You go out gently. And at first, that first rep or 2 or 3 is going to be a little hard, maybe for you and for the dog. Because the dog's like, I don't understand, buddy. Usually let me shoot out the back door. By the way, this is easier with puppies because they don't have bad habits to begin with. We teach them from the very beginning what we want them to do, and they do it right from the first time going forward. So it's not hard at all. It's easy. It's a little harder when your dog's been doing it so bad for so long that it takes a little bit of time and effort. Not a lot, a little bit of time and effort to chip away at that and show them a better way. So that's that little hard part. But once that's out of the way, which could be as little as 1 or 2 or 3 sessions at the door. What's a session? 1 or 2 minutes, 2 or 3 minutes, and showing them a better way of doing it. And once you do that, then it's easier because now your dog behaves at the back door. Instead of pawing at the back door, it sits at the back door. Instead of barking, it's quiet. Instead of ripping out the door and, potentially, you ever have a dog step on your foot with their claws and go like this? Does not feel good. Instead of that happening, it goes out like a gentleman. And so when it comes to your question of like, if you are unlikely to be able to walk or train your dogs for a while, what can you do at home? You're living with that dog, right? That's all you got to do. Just do it the right way. Live with your dog and just expect better from them. That's all it is. Like I said, they're going to go outside anyways. Just let them go outside the right way, not the wrong way. You're going to hopefully walk them the right way. And you're saying you have a baby. If your dog knows how to walk on a leash, you got to take that dog and the baby on a walk. It'll be very enjoyable. If your dog pulls like an asshole, let's be frank here, your dog is yanking you left and right. And there is the potential that because it's so leash reactive and it's unpredictable and it pulls and it could knock the baby's stroller over and hurt the baby, then no, we can't take the dog for a walk. But again, that's the wrong way to walk. And who wants to deal with that? So anyways, it's like with anything in life. It takes a little bit of work. So I just thought of something, and I don't know if it's applicable or not, but I'll talk about it. There's 2 ways to put shoes on, all right? There's 2 types of shoes you can wear when you go out for a hot date or to wherever it is you're going. You can get those Velcro shoes. You know what I'm talking about? Easy on, easy off, no effort required. And you can go, you can go to work with those Velcro shoes and everyone's going to see you got Velcro shoes. Or you could argue there's a better way, and that would be to, get some shoes with some laces and tie them up. And then people will see you wearing the latest Jordans or whatever it is you're into. So nothing against folks wearing those Velcro shoes, but you get what I'm getting at. Like there's kind of the easy way. Doesn't mean it's necessary. Or forget the Velcro shoes, right? Because someone's going to get offended by that. It's too late. But how about them Crocs? I own some Crocs too. Y'all don't ever see me film them with Crocs on. That's embarrassing, in my opinion. I love Crocs. They serve a purpose. But I'm not going to a job interview wearing Crocs. You know what I'm saying? So Crocs are easy. It doesn't mean it's right. Letting your dog shoot out the back door is easy. Letting your dog pull you on a leash, I guess, is easy. But, man, you put in a little bit of effort early on and learn how to tie your shoes, it can open up a lot of doors for you in the future. That's kind of what I'm getting at. All right. Ethan GM, thoughts on some anxious dogs, meds with training. I don't really know what your question is, but we have a dog here that this golden retriever I told you about, which happens to be the talk of the town right now because she's hitting all these different check boxes. But let me show you. Stand by. I'm going to show you what meds she's on. These are the meds she's on. Clonidine. It's right here. There's some owner's information on here, so I don't want to share it with you. Quantity, 240 pills. Give 2 tablets by mouth twice daily. And acetylopram. I had my assistant look up what they are, but they're behavioral meds. I mean, we were told they're behavioral meds, but one's like they're basically ADD meds. One of them is. And one's like a downer or suppressant because the dog's behavior is so out of control. The behavior is out of control because the dog was never trained. That's all. That's all it is. So, no, the dog's coming off of these meds. Coming off. And we're going to train the dog without the meds and see how she does. And I suspect she's going to do just fine and never have to be on these meds again, which are ridiculously expensive. And it's just I'm just not a fan of it. I'm not saying there aren't certain dogs that might, after you've done everything you can in the training aspect and they need meds, fine. But it should be, in my opinion, a last resort. And what I'm hearing is it's now becoming people's first resort. By the way, if this dog's now been with us a little over 48 hours, give or take, right around 48 hours, and I have not seen the need for the dog to be on meds yet. Like, I see why they put it on meds, like it has some bad behaviors, but it's nothing like beyond anything I've seen before. Like, I feel pretty confident that we're going to be able to get this dog where it needs to be. What I don't feel confident in just yet is will the owners be able to maintain it? So hopefully they can. All right, here's a question. Jump to the top here. Hans Google. Hopefully I'm saying your name right. Google, I don't know. Where did it go? It was just there. All right. Question. Any recommendations on a dog for long haul truck driver that's not a Chihuahua or however you spell it? Sure. I think a pit bull is a cool dog, right? That's a lot of dog in a small package. I know pit bulls get a lot of bad rep, but I get it. You're driving a truck, you know, you don't want a Chihuahua. You may not want a Pomeranian, you know, maybe you need, and you need a dog, like a real dog, but you might not want a 130-pound Rottweiler. It's just too much dog to get in and out of a truck. You know what I'm saying? So you want something that's medium-sized, athletic, has the stamina to get up, and just a all-around great dog. I think pit bulls are really good. We have two here now that we've already fully trained. They're just back for boarding. We got Mr. Duke, freaking stud. Stud. I'll see. Hey, Cole, can you bring Duke here? I'll try to get Duke on camera for you. Stud of a dog. He probably weighs, I don't know, 55 or 60 pounds, but he's just shredded. Just shredded. He's just a bad-looking dog. Amazing personality. The kind of dog that I would want with me at a truck stop at, 3 in the morning. You know what I mean? So a pit bull, if you wanted something a little more like less aggressive looking, can never go wrong with, a beautiful Labrador. I'm also thinking you want something that doesn't shed too much. German Shepherd, even though they shed a lot. I'm also just thinking about the hips of coming up and in and out of a truck. That's what I'm really concerned with. So you want something that's really robust, agile, not too big, not too small. And those pit bulls have some ups, you know what I mean? Like they can jump. So I can see your pit bull just jumping up into the cab, no problem. So here's Mr. Duke right here. Let me see if I can get the camera for y'all. Duke, come here, Bubba. It's not the best place to showcase dogs, but I'm gonna have you put him back in just a second. Sorry. He knows not to jump, but I gotta get him up here anyways. This is Mr. Duke. He's just a handsome, handsome dog and just absolutely shredded, sweet as can be, but not afraid of anything, but not like aggressive, And I don't know if you can see his muscles or not, but my boy's just jacked. He's just jacked. And he can be your ride or die buddy in the truck any day. Thank you. I want to get to showcase dogs a lot when we do these lives. What else we got? Brian Ross. Thank you for your service and everything you've accomplished as an officer and trainer. I'm curious if you take on unpaid interns and teach them. Well, thank you, Brian. Yeah, kind of, Brian. Yes and no. So we have had interns come here, but we usually start folks out as paid kennel techs, right? Like you got to pick up the poop before we start dropping knowledge bombs on you. But even then, like we have to show you how to handle dogs and this and that. But I'm not saying no. It's just I don't know what the word is. There's not a strong enough word to explain how, what is the word that I'm looking for? How much we filter out the people that want to come train with us, because you're training my clients' dogs who pay a lot of money and we need the best around us. Number two, you're going to be in and around my home with my dogs and my family and my children. So you understand that as a former police officer, we got to put you through the grinder just to make sure you're even, you see where I'm going with that. So it's not like, oh yeah. Just anybody come over to my house, hang out with my kids and my clients. No, it ain't like that. So we're extremely selective is the word, selective. So also curious what you think about Kangles and have you ever trained one? I've never trained a Kangle. What do I think about them? I think it's a lot of goddamn dog. You know, if you want to get one, go get one, right? We talk a lot of smack, people think, on the internet, where we recommend dogs or don't recommend certain dogs, or give the pros and cons, and somehow we're the devil because we voice our opinion on, in the case of the Kangal, badass dog, badass dog. But if you don't live on 100 acres and you don't have a bunch of sheep that you're protecting from wolves and bears, which is kind of what the Kangal is bred for. I don't have like the breed history in front of me, but my understanding, it's a livestock guardian, and a big ass one at that. Do you need a Kangal in an apartment in downtown, you know, whatever? I don't know. Can you get one? Yeah. Can it work? Sure. Is it going to require a lot more work on your part to make that fit? Yeah. But that's a lot of dog. And most people cannot, case in point again, we're going to pick on Sunny, can't handle their 65-pound golden retriever. What the hell are they going to do with a 180-pound Kangal? That's 3 times the dog. And that doesn't mean it's 3 times more powerful. That means it's like 6 times more powerful. And let me give you another example. We just started doing this. We bought I don't know if it's there and I can show you, but you know those scales that people use? It's like a handheld scale that you can hang like a fish from. We got one of those. I got one to show you how hard certain dogs pull, especially if they're on like a harness. Well, we put Miss Sunny, who's 65 pounds. It's not a big dog, on this thing. And my girl was pulling up to 40 pounds. 40 pounds. Doesn't seem like a lot, but 40 pounds going this way and going this way, and all of a sudden jerking you that way. And I know she can pull stronger than 40 pounds. That's just the only one I could get registered. But I think she could pull up to 50 or 60 pounds easy. Mind you, it's a 65-pound dog. It's hard for it to pull its weight and then some. But let's just go with the 40 pound, right? 40 pounds of pull on a 65-pound dog. Okay. Let's just double it. Let's go to a 130-pound Corso. Do you think a 130-pound Corso, if it wants to pull you somewhere, is going to only pull you at 40 pounds? No, it's simple math. It's at least 80 pounds. We haven't measured it yet. We just got this thing. We started messing with it yesterday. I'm going to put Thanos on a harness, and we're going to do bite work, and then I'm going to measure exactly how hard he pulls. But I will tell you that I'm 220 pounds. And when he wants something and we're doing bite work, it's everything I got to hold him back. Both of my hands, and to hold him back. And I might not be the strongest guy, but I don't think I'm very weak. We're actually going to do one where we have Cole, who only weighs, all right, check it out now. Cole's 160 pounds. Thanos is about 120, 130 pounds. Thanos is going to rip him right off of his feet. Like, he's just going to go airborne. You know, Cole is not going to be able to hold him, I don't think. We have videos where I'm doing the bite work. I'm catching the dog. We have to have 2 guys hold Thanos back. And Thanos ain't even that big. He's not that big, because there's Corsos out there that are 160 pounds or more. So, plus, again, I don't think it's an exactly like 1-to-1 ratio. I don't think a 65-pound golden retriever, you know, and we're saying only pulls at 40 pounds, because she can pull harder than that, but that's 40 pounds. I don't think when you double the weight of the dog that you double their strength. I think it's more like triple their strength. But even if we went with just double, that means, you know, Thanos can pull 80 pounds like without even trying. 80 pounds. So you get somebody out there like a woman who maybe weighs 110 pounds, or you have a kid, 12-year-old kid that maybe is a buck 20 soaking wet. How does a kid who weighs 120 pounds hold back a 140-pound dog? And now we're talking about a 180-pound Kangal. I don't know. What are you going to do? So anyways, do you have any plans? This is from Tactical Pete 44. Do you have any plans for a South Florida group meetup anytime soon? No, unfortunately. I'm not against a meetup, and it sounds like a great idea. The problem, Pete, is we're moving to Charlotte very soon, as in like this week. So we may obviously visit back here. We still have family and stuff down here and things we'll be doing down here. We still have clients, but no plans for that in the future. But it's a good idea. It's a good idea. What we are thinking of doing is part of our Wing Academy that's coming down the line is having Potentially, it's not 100% set in stone, but folks who graduate our Wing Academy, which is going to be an online course to become a professional dog trainer, it's going to give you a certain level of certification. For instance, silver level. But hey, if you want a gold level, can't give you a gold level if I've never met you, I've never seen you and watched you train dogs. And so we may set up things in the future where we have a small group of folks who've passed the Wing Academy that want to come for a gold level certification, come for whether it's a weekend, a week, or 2 weeks, something like that. And we can watch you train dogs in person and then obviously help you become a better dog trainer. And then we can see and just be, now here's another thing, just because you show up does not mean you get some certification. We're not just handing this stuff out like candy. Hell no, you got to earn it. But if you earn it and we can see who's earned it, then you get the gold level certification. And so that might be the closest thing to a meetup. FAVJR, Fav Jr., U.S. Navy veteran is what it looks like. Thank you very much for the coffee donation. Again, we're not asking for donations whatsoever. Y'all want to throw them our way? I ain't going to say no. I mean, like I said, I drink my coffee and it'll go to good use. Brandy Jones, and we got to stop taking questions at some point because these are just getting longer and longer. So we're going to end this at 10:30, right? So we got a little bit of time left. Everyone wants to see Xena. All right, I'll bring Xena out when we get a chance. Cole, you around still? Yeah. Can you bring me Xena when you get a chance? Y'all ain't gonna believe this girl. Got huge. Oh, she's an excited peer, so we got to take her out first to pee. Thanos. Come here, big boy. Y'all can see Thanos. I can't get him up. He's not really a jumper, but maybe I can. Come on. It's like so against what I ask him to do all the time. I don't know if you can even see him. Yeah, this camera's funny if it tries to stay where it's at. What's up, Bubba? He and I go on a run every morning. He's a good boy. We're going to put him up and bring Miss Xena so y'all can see her. She'll jump up. Not supposed to, but we'll let her. Brandy L. Jones. I'm training my dog to be a service dog. Good for you. So far, so good. Thanks to you. Well, thank you, Brandy. I started public access training, and I noticed he whines when we are standing still for over 30 seconds. What can I do? Hey, make sure she pees good. Yeah, she was all right. All right, perfect. I'm going to come back to that question, Brandy. Give me a second. We got Ms. Xena here. What's up, baby dog? Yes, knocking everything over. Come on, hop up. I know you're not supposed to, but we're going to let you up this time. Come on, baby. Yeah, that's good. Up we go. Oh, my goodness. Come on, baby. I don't know if y'all can see her or not. Let me check the camera here. I have to actually like move the camera. Probably can't see nothing. There you go. Xena girl, come on. Come on, baby. Everybody wants to say hi. You know she's 88 freaking pounds, this girl. She's still beautiful. Look at that. Yeah, that's good, girl. Come on, you come up. You can come up. All right. Let's break all the rules today. Oh my goodness. She's a powerhouse, this girl. Yes. Super sweet, beautiful face, and good temperament. She's just pretty cool girl. All right, go be mischievous. She's out there playing in the dirt. I'm all dirty now. Can you guys put her back out or take the leash off? She's just running around with the leash on. Thank you. I'll put this back up. There's Ms. Xena. Yeah, she's huge, man. She's gonna be bigger than Thanos probably. So she's 88 pounds. We weighed her yesterday or the day before. We were shocked. We were taking bets like, all right, how much? You know, we take a look, and I think we were all off. That's all I'm gonna tell you. I think I said 80, and then somebody was saying 75, and then we weighed her like, holy crap, 88 pounds. God damn. I don't even know how she got that big. We just weighed her like a month ago, and she was like, I don't know, not that much, 66 or something like that. Big girl. She's going to be huge. She's a very, very long and pretty tall. And then she's not even filled out yet. So we'll see. Big girl. Keeping it. She's at a very healthy weight. But she is far from obese. If anything, she's been skinny this whole time. She's finally like getting to like a normal healthy weight. Meaning like she's been like, her ribs been showing this whole time. Like nothing, you can't feed her enough. Now she's starting to thicken down pounds and lean. So good Lord, I don't know what's going to happen there. Back to the questions here. Brandy Jones. So you got a service dog and you started public access training and you notice that he whines when we are standing still for over 30 seconds. What can I do? That's a good one, Brandy. There's a few things. So you have to try to teach. I'm just trying to think what's going to be the easiest one for you. You can teach what's called a forced hold, and you can bring like a toy or something along. And I say a toy, it's whatever you want it to be. It could be like a little PVC pipe. It could be anything, freaking tennis ball, whatever it is that you want that's convenient that you can stick in your pocket. If it is, because I don't know how high drive your dog is. And you could teach it a forced hold. A forced hold is, hey, you got to put this in your mouth and don't let go, right? And they enjoy it anyways. And it's like a pacifier. So if you find yourself in that situation, we do that a lot with really high drive working dogs that you're just not training that out of them. You're not training out that drive to like, and they're just like, stick in the little PVC pipe or whatever it is that you train the dog to hold. And that's it. And they will be happy to hold it. And now they're just chewing on something or sitting there holding it. Plus it looks cool. And there's nothing wrong with having that on you. It should you need it. We had another dog once, police dog, ridiculously high drive. Whatever drive you want to classify it as is basically a bite drive. And this dog, when it was in drive, it needed to bite something, anything, and bite the hell out of it. And the problem with the dog is if you gave it a hide, like you hid, this is in training or real life, to be honest with you. But there's a guy hiding in a tree or up on a shed or whatever, and the dog can't get to him, but the dog knows he's there and is built to like work towards this. And he's like, okay, I found the prize. Now give me the prize. In real life, if someone's giving up, you obviously can't have the dog bite him, but that doesn't satisfy the dog's urge to bite. And when I mean urge to bite, y'all don't understand what I'm talking about. It's over the moon drive. There's no turning it off. There's no tapping it in this dog. He's like, I'm biting something. Something's getting bit because and you'll see their teeth chatter. They can't control themselves and they need to express that. And so this particular dog needed a pacifier, and the pacifier was a tug toy. That handler basically couldn't go on a real life track or on a training track without a pacifier, because if you did not let that dog bite something when he found the bad guy. Now, mind you, if he can find the bad guy and bite him, no problem. But if there's a training scenario where the guy's like up in a tree and we're not going to have him come down off the tree, it's just about the dog finding him, then we'd have to deliver the tug toy. Because if you didn't deliver that tug toy, you were the tug toy, my friend. And he would bite the handler. Again, nothing personal. It wasn't even real aggression. It's not aggression. It's just the dog had to bite something, anything. And what was it trained to bite? People. And so it just resorted back to, he's like, I got to bite. You look good. And just unload on the handler. Not healthy at all. Trust me, we tried to train it out of it, but it was like one of those is like, I don't think you're going to train that out of him. Not really. So, and maybe there is a way, but it would take like, and even then, even if you trained it, you'd just be somewhat suppressing that behavior. And I think it would always be lurking under the surface. It was just easy. Hey, here it is. Here it is. And so, not quite the same as you, Brandy, but the dog's bored or excited. You can think about a downstay. Downstays tend to get your dog to be a little more calm and quiet. You could also go with teaching the dog how to bark on command. But the only reason you can do that is because you're going to counterbalance that, right? With a quiet command to be quiet. And then once the dog understands how to be quiet and that they get paid for being quiet, you can then use that later on when the dog's whining, and you can deliver the quiet command. And the dog goes, oh, I know what you want. Because right now your dog's whining, but I don't think you have a way to communicate to the dog that you don't want him to do that anymore, right? It's a little tricky to delineate that. Let's say you gave him a leash pop, for instance. If you haven't charged up that a leash pop means to be quiet, then he's whining because he's maybe frustrated or bored or anxious, and you giving him a random leash pop, he'd be like, I don't know why you're doing that. And you're just adding more anxiety to the problem. And so I'm not saying it might not help. It could help. It kind of depends, but it might also make it worse where the dog's like, well, not only am I anxious, but this guy's popping me on the leash for no reason, and I don't understand what's going on. But if away from the anxiety, at home where you train, if you can train the dog a quiet command, then, and you can overlay a leash pop on that command, then you can demand that the dog is quiet when you need it to be quiet. Easier said than done, though. And because you said whining and not barking, that's what makes it even more interesting, is some dogs whine subconsciously. They don't even know they're doing. Like, it's kind of like I have a nervous twitch sometimes, but my knee, like I'll bounce my knee or my foot. There's probably a name for it. And I'm doing it. I don't even think, I'm not doing it consciously. It's just happening. And someone has to, like my wife will like look at me and like grab my knee and like, I'm like, oh, yeah. Sorry. Didn't realize I was doing that. You know what I mean? So, but imagine if my knee was popping, right? My knee was popping and I'm just sitting at a table and I don't know why I do it. I have no idea. Just, it's not all the time. Sometimes it'll happen. And for no apparent reason, my wife just whacked me on the back of the head. I'd be like, ow, why'd you do that? And for the moment, I might stop my knee pop. But if she doesn't say anything to me and I don't understand why she smacked me in the back of the head, I'm going to probably go right back to knee popping. You know what I mean? So it's the same for your dog. Like a leash pop could help temporarily, but I don't think it's a long-term solution. Think about the pacifier thing. It works. Keller says, is it true all dogs see babies as prey? No, that's not true. Is it true that some dogs might see babies as prey? Could be. That'd be like a misplaced prey drive. But yeah, we always have to be careful around dogs and babies. Yeah, some dogs can be obviously very unpredictable. And I wouldn't think of they see them as prey as much as sometimes they could see it as like a toy. They don't understand what's going on. And then they investigate things with their mouth. Their nose, of course, but also with their mouth. So we just have to always be careful with that. Will you ever make a video to illustrate how to use slip leads and choke chains? So we don't use choke chains. I'm not a fan of them. I grew up using them because, you know, that was what you used back in the day, a very old school tool. Does it have some benefits? Yeah, kind of. Are there better alternatives? Yes. We don't use choke chains, like hardly at all for anything. So no, you're not going to see a video on how we use them because I don't think you need to use them in any real circumstance. But slip leads, yeah. And so our leashed course, which is something around 17 or 20 hours worth of material, all about how you use different types of collars and leashes in combination, independently, to teach dogs of all ages, breeds, and temperaments how to respond to leash pressure. And so, yeah, we go in depth on how you use a slip in that course. Like we have dogs doing a little bit of everything using the slip lead. And then we have other dogs doing a little bit of everything using a prong collar. Then other dogs doing a little bit of everything using just a flat martingale style collars. So yeah, that's all there. I'm a huge proponent of prong collars. I prefer prong collars. I don't want to put a number on it, but 80-90% of the time I like a prong collar. 10 to 20% of the time I like a slip lead. And surprisingly, y'all might be surprised by this, the harder a dog is, the more likely, the more prone I am to use a slip lead. And so for all those positive only trainers that sell the slip lead as like a gentle tool, yeah, it can be gentle. It can also kill your dog. The slip leads are extremely powerful tools that should be used, very carefully. Hey, Steph, Z folks. Moose the Mastiff. What percent do you say consistency plays in training from the get-go? Yeah, I know. Barking a lot. What percent do you say consistency plays in training from the get-go? Wow. Damn, Moose. You tell me. What percentage do you say consistency plays? Y'all can post. We can all answer together. I'm interested in what everybody thinks. What percentage do you say consistency plays in training from the get-go? I know what my percentage is. I'm just interested in what other people think. We got 100%, 70%, 100%. 1,000%. 10, actually, what is that's 100,000% from Tactical Pete. Yeah, you already know. Y'all know, boys and girls, ladies and gentlemen. Consistency is key to everything. Because and we'll expand upon it. It's a good question. I've never been asked that, but it's in my mind, it goes without saying, but it's I get it that it's not that common. That's why, honestly, a lot of what we talked about in the beginning of this conversation was how much time do you need to spend training your dog? It's not a time thing, it's a consistency thing. Because if you only walk your dog once a day for 10 minutes, I just need those 10 minutes to be very consistent. If you walk them 4 times a day for 40 minutes, then it's 40 minutes of consistency that we're looking for. Everything you do with your dog, like someone had asked earlier, well, what do you do when you don't have time to train your dog? You're still training your dog, whether you know you're training your dog or not. But the consistency in the beginning, because that's the key part of your question, what percentage do you say consistency plays in training from the get-go? Man, the more consistent you are in the beginning, the better off you are in the long term. It's the folks that are not consistent in the beginning and their dogs are now 1 or 2 years old and have been, like, there's a good example. I couldn't even get Thanos to jump on me because he's not allowed to jump on me. I don't want him to jump on me. So even when I kind of invite him to jump on me, he's like, nah, I don't know about that, bro. I ain't doing it. I don't even know how to do it. I forgot how to jump on you. And I say forgot because I don't know if he ever did jump on me. He's just not allowed to jump on me. So it's not even in his repertoire because we're very consistent about you just don't jump. And therefore that behavior is basically gone extinct. And so not only is consistency important when you start, but consistency is absolutely vital when your dog is finished training, because your dog's never finished training. That's the idea. Because you can always reprogram your dog, and your dogs are constantly updating their software because they're constantly learning what's right and wrong from their environment. And so, yes, you stack the odds in your favor by front loading with a bunch of training. But again, what is training? And I don't know if we've answered that part yet, but we started this conversation with there's 2 types of training. There's the type of training where you're actually trying to teach training, like you're teaching the dog something new. And that's honestly a very small part of the equation. It's not even needed per se. If you don't want to teach your dog to go on a place board, then you don't need to teach it to go on a place board, right? But the other rest of the time, we want to make sure we teach or train the dog not to pull on the walk, not to bark, all the time, not to jump on us and other guests, not to shoot out the door. We're not really teaching them something new. We're just making sure they don't do things we don't want them to do. And that's it in a nutshell. Of course, the better thing you could do is show them a better way. That's where the teaching might come in. And so you might, and we'll make it simple for you. We always say this. We call it a correction with direction. Instead of just, I'll give you options. Option 1, just let your dog shoot out the front door. That's like those Velcro shoes or Crocs, right? You take no time or effort and you're lazy about it, and your dog's going to act like a fool because you're not consistent, or you are consistently letting your dog shoot out the front door. No good. So instead we say, don't do that. Don't do that. I don't like that. It's not good for your health. Don't do it. I don't like it. And the dog will learn not to do that. The problem is, then the dog's like, well, what do you want me to do? That's the key. We will take literally 2 minutes, 5 minutes of your time for a lifetime of benefit. A lifetime of benefit. Will you spend 5 minutes to teach your dog how to sit at the front door? If it means every other time you go to the front door for the rest of your life, they don't pull out the front door anymore, I think that's a great investment. And there's no 5 minutes, 2 minutes maybe. 2 minutes today, 2 minutes tomorrow, a minute on the 3rd day, you're done. You're done. The dog's got it. It's now consistently being told and asked and shown that you must sit at the front door for that front door to open. That's it. That's training. Whether you're training it or not, like you're training it, right? So yeah, consistency is key. Key. Good question though, interesting. Ethan, GM, you're back. Do you have a course that can help my dog who panics on a walk anytime she's around cars, streets? 6-month-old German Shepherd Pyrenees mix. Love the channel. Well, thank you, Ethan, and thank you for the coffee money. I appreciate it. Yeah, our perfect walk course is the course that's going to help you. It shows you how to walk your dog give it a job to do on the walk. And that's what your dog's panicking about. It's got a lot of anxiety. It doesn't know what to do with all of its energy. It's not focused on a task. And we're going to give it a task to focus on that perfect walk. It's hugely important. If it doesn't completely solve your problem, it will greatly improve it and make it much, much more manageable. And then every day going forward, it's just going to get better and better and better. And then if you want to step up a notch, check out the leashed course, which, because the perfect walk really focuses on the walk, whereas the leashed focuses on like every other part of life, sitting down, stays, recalls, everything you need maybe outside of the perfect walk. And then of course you get we came here to really, really talk about that premium membership, which again, the sale runs out tonight, our launch sale. You're not going to see these prices again. This is it, baby. It's all of our courses from $2,100 down to $1,200. But wait, there's more. There's always more. Right now, there's a special coupon code that makes it to $947 for what's going to be currently over 60 hours of material, plus a backlog of something around more than 40 hours worth of live talks and dog training, plus the 20-hour course that's coming out with Mac, a complete 0 to hero course. And then for those of you who do have courses, guess what we just started filming? We got a brand new 3-month-old Corso puppy in the program, not our personal dog, client's dog. And we're going to do the same thing. We're going to film that dog every single training lesson until he's fully trained. So there is no excuses. There's no stone left unturned to what we're doing. There's no secret sauce. We share with you our secret. We got some secret sauce now. We like Chick-fil-A, baby. We got a secret recipe, but we give it away in our dog training courses online. So if you want to check it out, that's how we do it. All right, last questions here. 3 more to go. Bridget Lemoyne. What do I do with my German Shepherd who is in heat and has become incredibly food aggressive? She is 8 months old. You may want to check out our Puppy Essentials program. We have a whole section on there about food aggression, but Lord have mercy. You got to deal with it. But with food aggression cases, especially if they're really bad, you said incredibly food aggressive, we highly suggest you hire a local balanced trainer to help you out with it, because if you don't know what you're doing, it's a quick way to mess it up, make it worse, or get bit. And so, but the dog's 8 months old. You got to fix it now, because it's only going to get worse. It's not going to go away. And even when she comes out of heat, whatever, because of the consistency, right? We talked about it. If she's learning right now that it's okay to be food aggressive, then that's going to become her new normal. And it's not normal. It's not okay. And it can be fixed. It's unacceptable behavior and it needs to stop now. I don't care if she's in heat. I don't care if she's hungry. It's unacceptable behavior. It's just not allowed to happen. And she can do better. I know she can do better. So let's get it. Does your programs work with a 4-year-old Doberman? 100%. 100%. Our programs work. My suggestion for a 4-year-old Doberman is if you had to pick just one course, the leashed course is usually like our default program. It's our newest course, but it's a course that, hey, if your dog's food motivated, it will do excellent in the course. If your dog is not food motivated, and I say that because a lot of like 4-year-old dogs, that food motivation can kind of decline, their food drive. I don't know if that's the case with your dog or not. Kind of doesn't matter, because the leashed course is like, regardless of food motivation or not, we're going to get that problem solved. It's that deep. It's like it covers both angles, but it's perfect for those really stubborn dogs. Most 4-year-old dogs are pretty set in their ways, maybe not so super food motivated. And this leash program shows you, regardless of their food drive, regardless of their motivation or their willing or ability to learn, we can push through and break through some barriers and get the dog to be as obedient as you could ever imagine. Get on it. And again, I appreciate all the donations and stuff. No more. We got enough coffee to last me for a week, so I appreciate it. Wild City Outdoors. Frank from Miami Gardens. What's up, Frank? I do have a hat for you, my brother. So that's Frank, if I can say, from he's a canine trainer, actually. And hey, Frank, let me know, man, if I can share with you what you sent me, because it's goddamn heartwarming. Let me know if I can share that. If not, it's personal. I won't share it, but it was really nice of you. So I'm gonna come back to that. Last one before we go back to Frank. Alexandra, tell Garrett I love that he's talking too much. He's a great teacher. I always say I talk too much, so I know I do. But yeah, we're ending the end here. You see if Frank says I can read it. All right, Frank. You said I could, so I will. It's going to take me a second to find it. Frank sent me a beautiful message just a couple days ago. It's very heartwarming. So he's a canine handler and trainer from an agency. We've probably known each other. Man, Frank, what do you think? 7, 8, 9 years, 10 years? I don't know. It's been a minute. So here we go. Garret, I've been meaning to text you, brother, but life has a way of getting in the way. Yeah, no. Wanted to take a moment to thank you for everything you have done for me over my career in canine, both as a handler and a trainer. You have and always will be pillar of my success, and what you have taught me has been written in stone. I am extremely happy for you and your family that all your hard work and passion is paying off. I truly am happy that you found success on YouTube and other social media outlets, passing on your knowledge and passion for canine. Because of things I learned from you, Garret, I've gone off to run 3 FDLE 480s. And I'll pause and say what that is right now. That's Florida Department of Law Enforcement. In order to become a certified police canine handler in the state of Florida, you have to be a certified trainer, like Frank, and you have to run a 480-hour school, which is give or take on minimum 4 months, give or take. But most schools it's a 480 minimum, but they're usually more like 600 or 1,000 hours. So you're talking about 6 months, sometimes 9 months. It depends how long the school is. So Frank's now run 3 schools, and those schools are no joke. It is more than just a full-time job. It's like you got to be completely. What you teach these folks in those courses in the FDLE standard and beyond is what is going to be the make or break for those teams. See, Frank's saying 600 to 800 hours is what he's putting out to get a dog and their handler ready to hit the streets. And I'm not talking the streets of like middle of nowhere farmland. There's no crime happening. We're talking about South Florida and one of the roughest places in South Florida, in and around it. So anyways, he's training dogs and their handlers for the mean streets of Miami and elsewhere. So back to it. Because of the things I learned from you, Garret, I've gone off to run 3 FDLE 480s and 1 detection school. I have 11 dog teams working with my name on it. And time again, I am asked for help to mold other teams. I could not have done it without your help early on and having your videos to always fall back to and see things in action and have kept me sharp and always learning. I am forever indebted to you. And as I work on getting my evaluator certification, which is a step above a trainer, I couldn't have done it without your help. I hope one day soon we can catch up over a beer and chit chat. Plus, I still need to get a hat and shirt from you. So keep up the great work, Garret. And if you ever need anything, don't hesitate to call. As for those social media idiots, they are focusing their jealousy of you to gain views. Drama sells, and they know that. F those guys. Well, I appreciate it, Frank. I mean, seriously, that's super sweet of you. Really happy, Frank, to see you come as far as you have. And I mean, based off what you're telling me, that's amazing. I was there for Frank's first, I think it was your first 480 with your first dog, who was one of those hard-ass dogs. And, you know, we had to hold your hand through it, and I don't think it was easy for you. And now look at you. Now look at you, man. Complete 180, and now you are training others, which is sweet. So that's just amazing. Yeah. So his first ever. I couldn't remember if you were like something had happened, like you washed out of another one and rolled into us. But I remember you got like, I think your dog was an experienced dog, right? Correct me if I'm wrong, Frank. I just remember your dog was hard. I think it was somebody's like hand-me-down dog, or it passed it off to you, and we had to get you up to speed with him. And what was always in the back of my mind was Frank's not working for Bal Harbor. You know what I mean? Frank's not going to just be patrolling, the beach. Yeah, see, his dog was a hand-me-down. So meaning the dog had prior experience, maybe other, sometimes we pair up a handler with a brand new dog and they get to grow together. And in Frank's case, which is sometimes the case, Frank was a green handler, but his dog was not. There was a lot of dog. And so, number one, we had to make sure Frank wasn't getting, mauled by his own dog. But always in the back of my mind was that Frank was not going to be patrolling with his dog, on the beach somewhere drinking freaking margaritas. He's going to be in the thick of it in one of the roughest, most dangerous cities in terms of police work in America by far. So we had to make sure Frank was squared away, good to go. Now look at him training other people. It's so freaking awesome. And so I am inspired that we were able to help Frank, and it's super amazing. Frank sent me that just a few days ago, so that's killer, Frank. So yes, I'm gonna have a hat for you, brother. Hat and then some. And then, as always, Frank, anytime you need to train with us or you need me to come down and train with you guys, it's on the house, baby. It's my passion, so I would love to do that. In fact, we should do that. Let's talk offline about it. We come down and teach a tactical tracking course for you and your guys. Would be sweet. I haven't done it in a minute, and I'm kind of itching. I got the bug, and I want to get there and make it happen. So that you had failed to engage issues, supposedly equipment fixated, KMPV dog, and ended his career with 12 street bites, baby. I told you that's not no 12 street bites is a lot nowadays, man. We got canine handlers with like 5 years on the road and don't have one bite. So South Florida has bad parts. Yes, South Florida definitely has bad parts, baby. Frank can tell you all about it. Anyways, this one got a little long, got away from me. I enjoy it. We'll try to do more of these. I think y'all get a lot out of it. I get a lot out of it. Frank, I really appreciate you jumping in, man, and saying those kind things. It's just, it leaves me speechless, man, beyond words. So anyways, the whole purpose of this was to, again, remind you all, when it comes to training your dog, y'all can do it. Frank can do it. Frank did it. Frank's teaching others how to do it. You don't have to be a police canine handler. We just want to live a better life with our dogs. And it really doesn't take much. I swear, that's the beauty of it. Like I said, you're going to be with your dogs anyways. You might as well make it an enjoyable experience, and you might as well do it right from the get-go if you can. And if you can't, it's never too late, never too late. So what I'm recommending to you, if you need some support when it comes to helping you train your dog, and you don't want to spend $3, $4, $5, $6, $10,000 for somebody else to do it, and for you to still not know how to drive the car that they built for you, then my suggestion is check out our courses at DIYcanine.com. Today is the final day of this once-in-a-lifetime sale of the launch of our brand new premium membership, which gets you access to every single one of our current courses and access to any of our courses that come out in the future. Literally everything you need to train your dog, from basic to super high advanced levels of obedience, whatever you want out of your dog, to eliminate bad behaviors, to install new behaviors, whether it's a brand new puppy or like an 8-year-old dog. We got you covered all along the way. Plus weekly lives with yours truly, where we're going to help you through any problem you're having with your dog, because our success depends on your success. And last but not least, at American Standard Dog Training at DIYcanine.com, having a well-trained dog is not just a pipe dream. It is the standard. So if you want to join us, look forward to it. Thank you all very much. See y'all in the next one.